back to another edition of Gen XYZ. Today, we're talking about networking tips for introverts, specifically aimed at new grads and young professionals. And no one's surprised I'm Pete, I'm the Gen Xer.
And I'm Peter. I'm your resident millennial.
Boo. I'm Ashley. I'm the Gen Zer,
All right, we like Peter, but just no one likes millennials, right, Ashley?
I guess.
This joke has
Peter's
been going on
okay.
forever.
It's what we do. But today we're really talking about something that's more serious and it's near and dear to my heart because I am an introvert, which is a surprise to a lot of people who know me, but it's about how I feel inside. And specifically, when I got out of school, you guys being in public, like speaking or going to a networking event, that was a real struggle for me, and it's something I had to get over. And so I'm happy that we're doing this today because I think we can help other people get over the same feeling, and that's pretty important in their career.
I completely agree, Pete. When I first started college, I started to, do sorority rushes, and there you have to talk to groups and groups of people. And it was super uncomfortable at first because I came out of high school as a straight up introvert. So, yeah, this is super relatable to talk about today, and I'm excited to give tips to help everyone out.
So I want to clear something up first off. There's a huge myth out there, and I don't know if it's perpetuated by like social media or online. Everyone's an introvert nowadays, and I think that people get those, being shy conflated with being an introvert, and those are not the same thing. You can think of them as two scales: shy to confident, introvert to extrovert. They are different. There can be shy introverts for sure, but there can also be confident introverts. There can be shy extroverts. They're different things. Being an introvert just means that you recharge by spending time alone rather than going out to social settings. That going out to social settings makes you feel, tired and that your social battery is drained. So that's the thing I just want to clarify as we go into this. When we talk about introverts, we don't mean people who have social anxiety or that don't like talking to people. We're talking about people who just need a little bit of downtime between their events and that they don't prefer going out and talking to people in large crowds.
And to complement that, I think it's a common misconception that an introvert isn't going to be good at networking when the opposite is true. Introverts have some natural abilities that they can use to their advantage when it comes to building deep, meaningful relationships. And that's really what networking is about when it's done right. It's not about surface level relationships and conversations. It's about really getting to know someone, having them get to know you. And so when you really stop and think about it, it's something that an introvert can do really, really well if they have the right perspectives.
This goes out to more than just introverts, although it definitely pertains to them. This is a tip kind of for recent grads. I've had a few of them ask me if networking, quote unquote, is even important nowadays. And it definitely is, particularly because of the way the job market is. A job gets posted online and it's got 500 applicants within the day. So networking is kind of your back door. It's the way to, talk to people. It's the way to get direct connections with people that you might not even expect that can help you in your professional kind of journey. So it is definitely important. It's definitely something that can help advance your career.
Hi, recent grad here. Networking matters. I can't express to you enough how much it matters. I came out of college and thank God I, kind of started building my connections, but I know people out there who did not and they're struggling. It's not easy to find a job right now. You're clicking on LinkedIn applications and there's 1,000 other applicants and you have zero connections. It's not going to work just like that.
Yeah, and as the cliche goes, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And so many jobs are filled that are never posted. So you guys are talking about standing out when you apply and having an advantage there. But I would say more than half of open positions get filled without ever being available to the public. And so the bigger and deeper your network, the more opportunities you're going to come across in your career. So guys, let's get into some tips. Where do we want to start?
This actually kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about, which is that networking matters. So a introvert should embrace their introversion. Focus on connecting with just a few people at these networking events. And by the way, when I say networking events, I don't mean these, giant parties that you might think of in your hand where you're shaking hands, passing out business cards. A networking event can be something as simple as a happy hour for your company, or a social event, or an intramural, kickball league. There is any number of events that can become networking events if you just look at it like that. But making sure that you are focusing on just talk to one person, just talk to two people, have these, great connections, and, work on your strength as an introvert to build that relationship.
I'd say one of the biggest strengths as an introvert is we are great listeners. We are the best when it comes to listening and jumping into conversations, and we ask the best questions.
And the next time you go to an event, set small, achievable goals. Like you're going to stay for an hour, stay for that hour, make the most of it while you're there, and then leave and do it guilt free.
An introvert should always leverage their strengths as a planner. This is something that I've used in my own personal life, making sure that I am researching the event, the attendees, whatever the topic is going to be beforehand, whatever the event type is, knowing as much as you can about it ahead of time helps put you at ease. It helps, kind of squash some of that shyness or that anxiety that an introvert might naturally have, even though it's not, as we've said earlier, a core tenet of being an introvert. But having that knowledge ahead of time is going to go a really long way to letting you focus on building connections with people at the event.
Yeah, and write down things in advance that you can refer to. If you need to sneak into the bathroom and check a list on your phone, that's fine. Things like who do you want to meet? What do you want to get out of the event? Is it job advice, a new relationship? It could be so many different things that really just are important to you individually. But if you plan those in advance, then you can, that structure you can apply and it'll really set you at ease as the event unfolds.
And guess what, introverts? You can network on your own terms. That means you can network in person or you can network online. Don't feel the pressure to always go to big social events. You can go to LinkedIn, join Facebook groups. Peter, I know you love Discord and Reddit. I don't know what you have to say about that, but it's probably a great tool to use.
I guess that's my online gamer coming out. But yeah, we're talking about introverts and events and networking events, but tend to think of these things not even necessarily as an event with a start and an end date, but as just kind of an ongoing thing. So Ashley mentioned it. There's Discord, there's subreddits, there's Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, what have you. These are kind of just ongoing areas where you can meet people online, and it's amazing. Today, particularly now after COVID, where kind of everything is virtual, there are so many opportunities to network online, to build these relationships that you wouldn't even think of where they're going to take you. So don't forget to kind of think of those non-traditional networking, I'll say areas, not even events.
The next one out there is for all you self care queens. Take it away, Peter.
Peter is the self care queen.
Yeah, it's the millennial thing, right? No, I think that's the Gen Z thing. But hey, we are living today where it's a lot more accepted to, focus on your mental health, focus on self-care, like Ashley said. So make sure you're scheduling downtime after any sort of event that might drain your social battery. It helps me out if I have to go to a meeting or if I have to go to an event to take some time afterwards to just be alone. And, I'll go put my headphones on, and even just like working out by myself, not talking to anybody, helps me kind of come back and feel ready for the next event.
We all have different ways we recharge, and it's all about finding what makes most sense for you. So, guys, before we close, what are some long term strategies that people can implement?
You should definitely work on deepening your existing relationships, keeping in touch with people that you've met along the way. This is where introverts are really good. I think we do a really good job of building a few meaningful connections rather than just a lot of superficial ones. There's pros and cons to both, but this is an area where you can spend a lot of time to build these relationships and to just sending, a message every couple months, hey, thinking about you, doing little things like that to keep yourself top of mind for people is going to go a long way. People like to know that you're thinking about them, and you never know who knows who, what person has an acquaintance that might be the next step in your career.
I remember when I graduated college, I had my LinkedIn profile. You wouldn't believe how many colleagues that I graduated with connected with me and tried to keep in touch to see what I was up to, because again, that's their way of building connections, especially the younger ones that are seniors or juniors. They're connecting me with me right now because I'm in marketing, and they're like, "Oh, this is a person that can possibly open a door with me in the future."
And as time goes on, stay in touch with those relationships that you've had in the past by sending just things like news articles or just a quick note. You can do it over LinkedIn saying, thinking about you, and give them a reason why. There's so many different ways without having to even pick up the phone and have a conversation or see someone in person. So take advantage of technology.
And I would like to add volunteer for opportunities. I've done quite a few volunteer work throughout college and after college. I've helped through breast cancer awareness events, and I met some amazing women there and built great connections. So, volunteering is actually a great spot, and sometimes it's not even that overwhelming because it can be small groups.
Volunteer for opportunities you enjoy doing. It really makes the situation a win-win. You're helping a cause, you're doing something good for your community, and you get to meet new people. And don't think about it from a business perspective, just think about it from building new relationships with people who are like-minded. That's what's really important, and you'll be surprised by how natural and easy it becomes once you start putting it into practice.
Close us off, Peter.
We've talked about a lot of these tips and we've talked about a lot of strategies for introverts, but the most important thing is to make sure that you don't ever stop learning. There's obviously videos online. Hey, you're watching one right now. There's articles online. There's tons and tons of resources. But my personal opinion is that while you should do all of those things, you should watch videos, you should know these things kind of academically, but put them into practice. Make sure you're putting yourself in situations where you're going to get a little bit better. You're going to get, a little bit more than the time before that. Doing that over and over is going to get you to the point where it becomes second nature and you become like a well oiled.
Everyone grows and evolves as their career goes on, and that's really what this is about. So don't fret too much about where you are right now. Don't see that who you are right now is going to be who you are 10, 20, 30 years from now, because I'm certainly not who I was when I was 22. But it does take work, as Peter said. Don't just do the same things you've been doing. Look at doing new things, different things, challenge yourself, and I promise you will see results. So, guys, I think we covered all the bases today, right?
I think you did great. I think we left these introverted with great tips.
Awesome. I do too. Well, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time on Gen XYZ.
See you next time.
Thanks, guys.